Hi everyone, it's Jenny from Joey and Jenny's Little Yellow House, and you can see us on YouTube at Joey143 Jenny, and that just means Joey, I love you, Jenny. And so today what I'm going to do is I had a friend ask me about journaling, about junk journaling. So I thought what I would do is just turn the camera on while I'm making an envelope journal, or getting started anyways. This will be a multi-part series just because I am going to be doing some short videos, but I'm going to use a lot of the things that I showed you the other day that I had gotten, you know, in my flea market find. I'll be using some of those, as well as some scraps and different pages out of books, just some different paper. You may remember this photo I made a copy of. I'll be using that hopefully. I'll also be using, I've got them out anyway, some digitals. This one's from Roxy Creations on Etsy. I absolutely love her stuff. And then I also have some from the Junk Journal Studio. This is the Patterns and Textiles. And so I just have a bunch of different things from that I'm going to be using, or maybe using, and then a bunch of envelopes. This is one that I soaked in some avocado. I took some avocado skins, boiled it until they turned pink, and then I soaked the paper so it gives a nice pink hue. Some old envelopes and letters, a coffee dyed coin, little coin envelope, and just some, you know, some other things. So I do have some old envelopes I'm going to be using. I did not hide any of the addresses, so I hope that doesn't offend anybody. Don't write them. So anyways, what I've done is I've gotten 3 envelopes right now. So I just took 3 envelopes to be able to make the front. So this is going to be the front cover. This is my plan anyways. This is going to be the front, and this will be the back, and that'll open as well. Okay, so what I've done so far is I needed to hinge this one because it didn't have a flap. You can see the flap's been torn. So I just took a piece of scratch paper. This is just one that I had cut off of a piece of coffee dyed paper I'd made, and I just made a little hinge here. Now what I'm in the process of doing is hinging now this side, because I want this flap to come over here, but I don't want it stuck down. I want it to be able to, is that what I want to do? Let's see, where am I at here? Yeah. I don't want it to stick down because I want this flap to come over this envelope as the closure for the journal. So on the back, I have made a hinge, but I'm kind of wondering if I didn't do it right. So I'm turning it back around to see. And I think what I'm going to do is just glue it down on this front, and we're just going to see how it goes. The thing I like about junk journaling is, I mean, you really can't make any mistakes. You know, if you goof something up, you just work with it. And, you know, most of this would have been in the trash anyways, so I'm not too concerned about it. So I'm just using a little bit of white glue. This is art glitter glue, and although it's mainly for paper and such, I like it for thin fabric. So I'm going to put that down. Okay, so that's going to go there. Now let's see what happened on the back and what I need to do on the back. Okay, so I think what I need to do is also reinforce this side of the envelope. So what I'm going to do with that is, I think I am going to use maybe a digital scrap that I have hanging around. Where's my little Where's my little thing? There it is. All right, let's see what I have in here. This is my little bits. I might just use some paper. I've got some old paper here. It might look fun. Okay, let's just try that. So I think what I'm going to do is just make a little hinge there, a little hinge there, and a little hinge there. Okay. All right. So I'm gonna go ahead and put my glue stick on it. This old envelope is very, very porous. So I'm hoping that fabric is thin enough it'll glue well too, and I think it will. We'll see. Can always reinforce it if I need to. Let's hope this works. The thing about junk journaling is that I love is that you don't have to be a perfectionist about it. You don't have, nothing has to be perfect. I love that because pardon me, I'm a recovering perfectionist, in recovery, I should say. It's not perfect. My perfectionism recovery is not perfect. That's something a perfectionist would say. I'm not crazy about being a perfectionist because it does cause some procrastination. You know, if you think you can't do it perfectly, you don't even start. Like, you just keep planning and planning and working on it until you start. And that's why with these YouTube videos, I'm determined to put them on no matter what, because I have to get past that. And so another thing is that I think perfectionism might, in my case, it might reveal some insecurities. So I'm working on that. You know, it's so weird because here I am, near almost 60, and I'm still working on things like that. But that's what life is about, I think. Life is about continual improvement on yourself, and when you do that, it helps you to, I feel, have a little bit more compassion, you know, for others. So I'm just going to straighten this up a little bit. And you'll see that show up a little bit here and there where I do, even though I'm doing a junk journal out of junk, I will want things to be nice and tidy and clean, and that's okay. That's okay. You don't have to, but that's okay. All right, so that's down, and I think I am going to also reinforce this side. I don't particularly care for that stuff there. So let me just see if I have a scrap here from, yeah, here's a scrap. Okay, let's see if this is going to be big enough. Are we big enough for that? Yeah, let's just try that. Put that down. Oops. Sometimes if you try to tear against the grain, which, believe it or not, paper has a grain. Some paper is a lot easier than others, but if you try to go against the grain, you gotta help it a little bit more. Yeah, I think that's gonna work fine. And I think what I'm gonna do is just distress this a little bit, just so it's not super white. So it kind of blends in a little bit more with, even give it a little crease if I want. There we go. Okay, blends in a little bit more. I found these weekend craft, a whole pile of them at a flea market for next to nothing. and I loved the color, and I do use some of them in my journals, but I have so many that I love to use them as glue pages to be able to just put down and glue from them. So you'll see that periodically too. Okay, so what I would encourage is, I'm not going to go too much longer with this video. I just wanted to kind of give you a little idea on what I'm doing. But what I would love for you to do, if you want to do this along with me, is I would love for you to get, you know, some envelopes. Maybe they're envelopes from, you know, that come in the mail this week, junk mail envelopes, and gather those up. Or maybe you got some envelopes from Christmas cards this year. Grab those, and we're just gonna play. We're just gonna stick them down and play. All right, that's good. Now all I'm gonna do now is I'm just gonna put a couple of hinges here. You can see I keep all my little scraps, which are kind of fun. So I'm gonna just put a couple of hinges here, and then the next video I will start adding envelopes. So if you would like to join along, I'd love it. I'd love it. And I'd love it if you would subscribe to the video. I'd love it if you would hit the little bell so that you can be reminded when a video comes on. And then also, would you help by sharing the videos? It's really helpful, because even though these videos aren't, you know, professional, it's helpful in the sense that it helps us to get started. The more people we get on, and the more we learn, everyone will be able to help and give their tips and what they'd love to see, and then that'll help Joe and I with videos in the future. We just are so excited to have you at our little yellow house. I wish you could all be here in person, because we love it here so much. It's so beautiful. You just almost don't want to leave. It's so pretty, and there's so much wildlife, and we just love it. All right, so I'm gonna stop the video here and give you a chance to get your envelopes, get some scraps, maybe get some old newspaper or book pages from, maybe you have some children's books that have been drawn in or something, and you want to use those. You don't have to go out and purchase things. I just have, the reason I purchase is because I love vintage things, and I love vintage ephemera. Anything, especially ledgers, anything that's a ledger, man, I love it. I love it. Okay, so thanks again, everyone. Blessings to all of you. Thank you for joining me today, and I hope you have just a really great rest of the day. Goodbye for now.